My husband's phone died, so he borrowed mine. A minute later, a message popped up on his screen. I can't keep pretending. I love you. My stomach dropped. That night, I whispered, so. Who's the lucky one? He laughed, thinking I was joking. Until I held up his phone, unlocked. His smile vanished as he realized. I knew everything. I've been a lurker for a long time. Never thought I'd be the one writing something like this. I guess no one does until it happens. I'm 38 years old. I've been married to Mark, 40 male, for 15 years. We met in college in Champaign, moved to Chicago after graduation, and built what I thought was a solid life. 2 kids, a small house we worked hard for, steady jobs. I teach at a local elementary school. Mark's in IT, some mid-level cybersecurity role at a firm downtown. For years, I thought we were happy. Nothing perfect. But stable. Comfortable. Maybe too comfortable, in hindsight. Last Friday night started normal. We were both tired from the week. The kids were already asleep. I poured some cheap wine, and we threw on a movie. Some old action thing we've probably seen 5 times already. It was just background noise while we scrolled through our phones. His phone was almost dead, so he plugged it in across the room and asked, "Can I borrow yours for a second? I need to check an email from work." I handed it to him without thinking. We've never had passwords hidden from each other. No Face ID drama. I trusted him. That trust lasted about 60 seconds. I was halfway through a sip of wine when a message popped up on my phone screen, right under his hand. He was still logged into his email app, I guess, but it was a notification from someone else. I can't keep pretending. I love you. I froze. I didn't say anything at first. My stomach just dropped. I looked at his face. He looked like someone hit him in the head. Pale. Eyes wide. He tapped the screen too fast, tried to make it disappear. I said, very quietly, "Who's that from?" He didn't answer. Just gave a weak laugh and said, "Oh, that's nothing." My heart was racing. I reached over, took the phone back, and opened his inbox. The message was still there. I won't share her full name, but let's call her Rachel. I clicked the message. It wasn't just a one-off. There were pages of them. Some emotional. Some explicit. Some stupidly romantic. Some that sounded like they had just spent a night together. I felt like I was falling through the couch. Everything got really quiet in my head. I handed the phone back and said, "So, who's the lucky one?" He laughed again. Like I was being sarcastic. Like I was joking. Until I pulled out his actual phone from the charger. Unlocked it. Showed him the messages again. Same ones. All there. I had seen everything. That's when his face changed. He stopped laughing. "Okay," he said. "I guess. I should explain." No anger in his voice. Just tired. Like he'd been waiting to get caught. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just stared at him and said, "How long?" He said, "About 6 months." I asked, "Is she married?" He shook his head. "No." "Single." "Coworker?" He nodded. I asked him, "Did you sleep with her?" He said nothing. That silence was the worst part. I got up. Walked to the kitchen. Sat at the table. My wine glass was still half full, but I felt like throwing up. He followed me and said, "It's not what you think. It didn't start like that. We were just friends." She listened to me. I felt seen. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "She listened to you?" I asked. "Like I don't?" "I'm not saying that," he said. "It's just. I don't know. I messed up. I didn't mean to hurt you." I asked him, so when you come home to us, to the kids, to me, what's that? Pretend? Or was she the pretend? He didn't answer that either. I slept on the couch that night. Didn't say a word to him after that. The next morning, I packed a bag. Took the kids. Drove to my sister's place in Evanston. I told them Daddy was working on a big project and needed quiet. I didn't want to break their hearts. Not yet. That was 3 days ago. He's been texting me. Calling. Telling me he's sorry. That it didn't mean anything. That he loves me. That it's over. But is it ever really nothing when someone says I love you? I can't stop picturing all the nights he came home and kissed me on the forehead, said he was tired, scrolled on his phone, pretended to fall asleep. I wonder if he was texting her under the covers. I wonder if he thought about her when he made love to me last month. Or if he was just playing along, going through the motions, keeping me fooled. I'm not even angry. Not really. Not yet. I'm just numb. Like I'm outside my own life, watching someone else's marriage fall apart. I haven't told anyone besides my sister. She wants me to talk to a lawyer. My best friend keeps asking why I've been quiet lately. I haven't answered yet. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what I want to do. He says it's over with her. But if I hadn't seen that message, would it be? Would he still be sneaking off to meet her on his lunch breaks? Would he still be telling her she made him feel alive? He says he never stopped loving me. But how do you love someone and do this to them? I haven't replied to his last message. He asked me if we could meet and talk, alone. No kids. No drama. I'm still deciding what to say. I didn't reply to Mark's message for 2 days. On the third morning, he showed up at my sister's house. He didn't call first. Just knocked on the door while I was making breakfast for the kids. I peeked through the curtains and saw him standing there, holding coffee and some stupid flowers like we were going on a date. My heart started pounding again, not because I missed him, but because I didn't know what he was about to say. I opened the door just enough to block the kids' view. I stepped outside and closed it behind me. "What are you doing here?" I asked, flat. He looked tired. Not fake tired. Real tired. Like he hadn't slept. "I needed to see you. You won't answer my calls. I've been losing my mind. You should have thought about that 6 months ago." He flinched. "I know. I messed up. I'm not trying to make excuses." I didn't say anything. I just stared. "I ended it," he said quickly, like if he got the words out fast enough, they'd fix something. "With Rachel?" He nodded. "When? Before or after I saw the messages?" He hesitated. "After. Of course." I folded my arms. "So you didn't choose to end it? You got caught." "That's not the same." He looked down at the flowers in his hand, like they were suddenly stupid. They were. "I just want to talk." "Please," he said. "Can we go somewhere?" I should have said no. But I didn't. I told my sister I'd be back in an hour. She gave me that look but nodded. I left her with the kids and got into Mark's car. We drove in silence. He took us to Montrose Beach. It was cold and gray, but we sat on a bench anyway. Not close. He sat with his hands between his knees, eyes on the water. "I thought I was happy," he said quietly. But something in me felt dead. Like every day was the same, over and over. She made me feel noticed. I almost laughed. "You were noticed by a woman who knew you had a wife and kids." "I know. I know how it sounds." "No, you don't. You really don't. You're not the one who had your entire life flipped inside out in one text." He nodded. His eyes were wet, but I didn't care. I didn't come there for his tears. That's when the twist hit. He took a breath. Then said, "She's pregnant." Everything froze. I stared at him, waiting for him to take it back. "She told me yesterday," he added. I didn't believe it at first, but she sent a photo of the test. And then she said she missed her period. "She's sure it's mine." I felt like I got slapped in the chest. "You still think this was just emotional?" I asked, my voice shaking. He didn't answer. "She's keeping it?" He nodded. "She says she is." I don't even know what to do. I stood up. Started pacing. My fingers were ice. My whole body felt like a wire about to snap. "You sat in our house. Ate dinner with our kids. Slept in our bed. And now there's a baby? With her?" He buried his face in his hands. "I didn't mean for this to happen." "Stop saying that. You didn't trip and fall into her, Mark. You made choices." Repeatedly. "You built a whole second life while I was at PTA meetings and washing your laundry." "I never stopped loving you," he whispered. "Love?" I snapped. "You loved me while you were screwing her?" I was shouting now. Some people walking a dog turned to look. I didn't care. "What happens now, Mark?" I asked. "She has your child." "What do you think that means for our kids? You're going to split time? Go to 2 birthday parties every year? Watch our son graduate while texting updates to her about yours?" He was crying now. But I couldn't feel sorry. Not anymore. I was too deep in the anger. Too deep in the humiliation. Too deep in the "what the hell do I even do now?" And then, just to twist the knife, he said, "I don't want to lose you." That's when I realized, he still thought this was a mess he could clean up. Like if he just apologized the right way, if he showed me enough tears, I'd say, "It's okay, Mark. Let's go back to normal." There was no normal anymore. Not when another woman might be carrying his child. Not when the man I loved turned into someone I didn't recognize. I walked back to the car without another word. He followed, quietly. Drove me back to my sister's house. We didn't say a word. I got out. Slammed the door behind me. Walked inside. That night, I stared at the ceiling until 4 a.m. I haven't told the kids yet. Haven't told my mom. Haven't told the school why I've been calling in sick. I'm just waiting. Floating. Part of me wants to run. File the papers. Be done. But another part of me feels so numb, I don't even know where to begin. There's no plan. No resolution yet. Just this constant, throbbing ache in my chest. And the ticking clock of what comes next. After Mark dropped the pregnancy bomb, I shut down. Not out of spite. Just pure emotional overload. I didn't answer his texts for days. I didn't ask how the baby situation was progressing. I didn't even want to think about Rachel. But then came the next twist. A week after our talk, I was at my sister's kitchen table, trying to help my youngest with math homework, when I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring out. Then it rang again. And again. Finally, I picked up, annoyed. "Hello? Is this Mark's wife?" The voice was soft. Nervous. It was her. Rachel. For a second, I didn't say anything. My brain was catching up. I stood and walked into the hallway. "Yes," I said, flat. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know who else to call." I felt something sharp twist in my gut. "You think I'm your friend now?" I asked. "No, God, no. I thought you should know." "Know what?" My voice came out low and dangerous. She paused again. "Then, I lost the baby." The words hit different. Like someone had pulled a thread and the whole world shifted an inch. "I had a miscarriage 2 nights ago," she said. I went to the hospital alone. I texted Mark, but he didn't answer. I thought he might be with you, or… I don't know. He didn't come. I sat down on the floor. Not out of pity, but because everything was spinning again. Why are you telling me this? I asked. I think you deserve to know everything. The truth is, I wasn't completely honest with him. About the baby. Silence. I stared at the wall, trying to breathe. What do you mean? I told him I was sure it was his. But I'm not. There was someone else. Just one time. But I wasn't completely sure. I closed my eyes. She continued, I wanted it to be his. Because I loved him. I thought maybe if it was his, he'd leave you. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. So you lied? I asked. Not exactly. I thought it might be his. I wanted it to be. But I didn't tell him it could be someone else. I didn't think it mattered. Now it doesn't. I didn't answer. I couldn't. What was I supposed to say? Thanks for the heads up? Sorry for your loss? Glad you ruined my marriage but don't have to raise a baby now? She said, he's probably going to hate me now. And I deserve it. But you should know that I'm done. I'm out. I won't bother either of you again. Then she hung up. I just sat there, staring at my sister's beige hallway walls, while the air felt like glass. Mark called again. I picked up. He sounded different. Rattled. She told you, didn't she? I didn't speak. I'm so sorry, he said. For all of it. I should have never let it get that far. I thought the baby was mine. I panicked. But now it's just her lies on top of my mistakes. You broke this, I said. Even if she lied. Even if the baby wasn't yours. You let her in. I know, he whispered. Then he said something I didn't expect. I've been talking to someone. A therapist. I've been going every day since we talked. That made me pause. Alone? Yes. Just me. I'm trying to figure out why I did this. What's wrong with me? Why I was willing to throw away everything we built. I didn't know what to say to that. It wasn't nothing. But it also didn't fix anything. Later that night, my sister handed me an envelope she found in my purse, half hidden under a receipt. It was an appointment card. From Planned Parenthood. Dated 2 weeks before the pregnancy reveal. In my name. I stared at it, confused. I hadn't been there in years. I turned it over. On the back, in neat handwriting, tell her the baby is hers. That'll end it. No signature. But I recognized the writing. It was Mark's. Now, everything's worse. Because it means he didn't just cheat. He didn't just lie. He was planning something, with Rachel or to get rid of her, and he used me as the scapegoat. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Was this a threat? A trick? Why would he write that? Was he going to pretend I was pregnant? Or was he trying to frame me? Or worse, was she threatening him? I haven't confronted him yet. I haven't told anyone. Not even my sister. Because now, I'm not just dealing with a cheater. I'm dealing with a manipulator. And suddenly, this isn't just a broken marriage. It's something else. Something I'm afraid to even name yet. The next morning, I made a copy of that appointment card. Then I called Mark. We need to talk. In person. Today. He agreed without hesitation. I didn't tell him I found the card. I didn't mention the handwriting. I didn't give him time to prepare a lie. I told him to meet me at a quiet cafe on Lawrence Avenue, public enough that he couldn't scream, but private enough for a conversation. My sister watched the kids. He showed up early. Sat at a corner table, fidgeting with his wedding ring. When I walked in, he stood like he was expecting a hug. I stayed standing and dropped the envelope on the table. "What's this?" he asked. "Why don't you open it?" He glanced at the envelope, then back at me. Slipped the card out. His face went completely blank. I said nothing. Just watched. Finally, he looked up. "Where did you get this?" "It was in my bag." "You must have put it there. Or maybe Rachel did." "You want to explain why it says that on the back?" He opened his mouth. Closed it again. Then tried, "It's not what it looks like." "You wrote that." Yeah, I did. But it wasn't serious." "Then what the hell was it?" He looked around like he might run. His voice dropped. "I was trying to scare her." "What?" "I told her, if she didn't leave me alone, I'd tell you everything. She said she'd make your life hell." I panicked. "I wrote that message. I thought if she believed you were pregnant, she'd back off." "Leave me alone." I sat down across from him, slowly. My hands were shaking. "You were willing to use me, my body, my name, as a way to clean up your mess?" I wasn't thinking clearly. "No, Mark. You were thinking exactly clearly. You were plotting." He looked genuinely afraid. But it didn't matter. He had crossed so many lines, I didn't know which one broke me. "That wasn't just cheating," I said. "That was calculated. You dragged me into your lie without my knowledge. You were ready to make me look crazy if it suited your story." "I didn't go through with it," he said. "But you wanted to." He went quiet. I leaned in, voice steady. "You wanted to trick her, betray me, and save your own skin. You would have let her believe I was pregnant. You would have let her spiral." He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled back. "I can't even look at you right now." Then, like clockwork, the door to the cafe opened. And Rachel walked in. She saw us. Froze. I swear, you could feel the whole air in the room shift. Mark's eyes widened. "She followed me." "No," she said, walking up. "I got your location. You still have the phone tracker we used at work." My blood went cold. "You're stalking him now?" I asked. Rachel looked wrecked. Dark circles, red eyes, trembling hands. "You told me you loved me," she said to Mark. "You told me you were leaving her." People started turning around. Heads tilting. The barista froze halfway through steaming milk. Mark stood. "You need to leave, Rachel." "No. You don't get to hide. Not this time." Her eyes locked on mine. "You think he's innocent in all this? You should read all the messages." I did. "No, you didn't. The ones he deleted before showing you. The ones where he begged me to run away with him. Said he'd give up everything. Said you were cold. Controlling. That you never touched him." I blinked. Mark started shaking his head. "That's not true. She's twisting it." "I screenshotted everything," Rachel snapped. "I wasn't the one with something to hide." "You were." "Leave," Mark growled. "You deserve each other," she said, eyes back on me. "I don't want either of you," I said, my voice low and calm. Rachel laughed bitterly. Then turned and walked out. Just like that. Gone. Mark sat back down, face pale. "Please," he whispered. "Please don't let this be the end." I just stared at him. And then I said it, "It's already over. You ended it the first time you decided she mattered more than your family." I filed for separation 2 weeks later. I didn't tell the kids everything. Just enough for their age. Mom and Dad are taking space. We both love you. Mark moved out. He found a small place in Logan Square. Tries to call the kids often. Sometimes they want to talk. Sometimes they don't. He still texts me sometimes. Sent a long email once, pages long, pouring out guilt, begging for a chance to rebuild. I didn't respond. My sister says I dodged something darker than a cheating scandal. I think she's right. Rachel never contacted me again. I heard she quit her job. Moved back to Michigan to be closer to her parents. I don't wish her well. I don't wish her anything at all. People keep asking how I'm doing. I say I'm okay. But the truth? Some days, I cry brushing my teeth. Some nights, I scroll old photos and ask myself what part of our life was real. But here's what I do know, I'm stronger than I thought. I've rebuilt more in the last 2 months than Mark ever offered in 15 years. I take the kids to the lake. I go to therapy. I wake up and make coffee and sit in silence without feeling like I have to check his phone or wait for some shoe to drop. I'm learning that peace doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from burning it all down and walking away from the ashes. And right now? I'm walking. I don't know what the future holds. But for the first time in a long time, I'm not afraid of it. And that has to mean something.